We follow some leaders because we have to, because of their titles. But there's also leaders we follow because we want to. They inspire us to do better, to be better. In this video, we're going to talk about a critical character trait that we need to develop to become better leaders. Welcome everybody, I'm Matt. Remember to subscribe for more videos on personal growth and motivation. You don't need to be a CEO to be a leader. There's opportunities to lead all around us every single day, whether that's at home with a younger brother, on the field with a sports team, with friends, a partner, or at work. And that means with or without the title. In fact, showing leadership qualities without the title at work is a great way to demonstrate, a great way to prove that you're ready for a leadership position. But regardless of where you take or where you have your opportunities to lead, the important thing is that we start to take them. That we start tackling challenges. That we ask more from ourselves today than we did yesterday. It is by taking these opportunities to practice that we unlock our own leadership potential. And we all have leadership potential. In fact, who knows what your limit is? There may be a great leader within you. There are many character traits of a great leader, but to enable us to inspire and to motivate others, there's a fundamental character trait that we need to develop. The ability to connect with others. That means the ability to understand, relate to, empathize, and build rapport with other people. These are the character traits that breed dedication and loyalty in those around us. It'll form the foundation on which the skill set of a great leader is built. Let's look at some examples of people who did develop these qualities and those that didn't, and the effects it had on other people. Bear in mind, all these examples are from the work environment, but the principles apply to all aspects of life. It's very hard to be inspired by somebody you don't like, or somebody who treats you badly. The next few examples illustrate this. In my first job after university, I remember being in the elevator one day when a director called Amy and a junior called Hannah walked in. Hannah was trying so hard to strike up a conversation with Amy. She was asking her questions, she was showing an interest, she was being friendly. Amy, how was the weekend? It was okay. Did you go up to anything fun? How are the kids? Yeah, not too much, they're all right. How's the husband? Is he still traveling a lot? Not much. This went on and on and on. Honestly, it was painful to listen to because Hannah was making so much effort and Amy just clearly was putting in, she had no interest in talking to her. I thought to myself, well, maybe Amy's just not very talkative. And then the CEO walks in and suddenly Amy just bursts into life. Paul, how are you? Did you get a new haircut? Looks great. How was the weekend? Suddenly Amy, who 10 seconds earlier needed every word dragged out of her, was the most friendly, the most charismatic, the most talkative person I've ever seen. This interaction made me sick. I took a quick glance at Hannah and saw her smile slowly evaporate as she realized what was happening. Hannah was too junior to warrant Amy making an effort in talking to her. But Paul, well, he was a CEO. He apparently deserved Amy's best behavior. This woman was in a leadership role, in a director role in the company, but yet she treated people so differently depending on their title. How can you admire a leader like that? How can you respect a leader like that? It can be daunting for more junior members of staff to engage with more senior people. Amy was oblivious to this. And as a result, her inability to understand and connect with Hannah completely demotivated and demoralized her as a result. Unfortunately, this kind of thing happens all the time. Something similar happened to me in a company where I had two very differing experiences of leadership. The CEO and the vice president were both working on the same floor I was on. The first time I walked by the vice president, I looked at him and said, "Hi, Owen." He looked right through me and walked right by like I didn't even exist. I gave him the benefit of the doubt the first time and the second, but by the third or the fourth I realized this wasn't an accident. I took it on myself as a bit of a challenge to try to get Owen to acknowledge me. Every time he walked by, I started saying his name louder and louder. I started getting more animated, flapping my arms around. By the seventh or eighth time, I pretty much was waving my arms and I shouted, "Hi, Owen!" He couldn't ignore me that time. He muttered, "Hi," and he didn't even make eye contact. What did this experience of a senior leader, what effect did it have on me? Well, when we want to inspire somebody, we want to make them think, feel, or do something. So what did it make me think? I thought, I really don't like this guy. What did it make me feel? I felt like he thought he was too good to talk to me, like I didn't deserve his time. Like he was up here and I was down here. What did it make me do? Well, I viewed everything he did through a negative lens. When we were in a meeting and he made a suggestion, I automatically started thinking of all the reasons why his idea would never work. When he told a joke, I never laughed. I was stone-faced. That is the consequence of a leader's inability to make connections and relate to others. I had subconsciously created a negative bias for everything he did. My experience with the CEO, Philip, who worked on the same floor of the same company, was completely different. On my second day in the company, there was a social event on. I walked through the doors that day looking around for someone to talk to because I didn't know anybody at that point. To my surprise, over comes Philip. He knew my name. He asked me questions. He showed an interest in me. He put me at ease straight away by keeping the conversation light and by making jokes. In a room where there were many people more senior than me, and in a room full of people who wanted to talk to him, he spent 20 minutes talking to me. What did it make me think? I thought he was a great guy who genuinely cared about the staff. What did it make me feel? I felt like we were on the same team, like we were moving in the same direction, towards the same goal. What did it make me do? Well, when I was in a meeting with him and he told a joke, I laughed loudly and freely. When he made a suggestion, I immediately started thinking of all the reasons why his idea would work. When he asked me to go above and beyond the call of duty, I did. When he spoke about the vast company vision he had, I was inspired. Because I admired him as a person, I viewed everything he did through a positive lens. I was happier and motivated working for him, and in turn he got a more productive and dedicated employee. It was a win-win scenario. It's very hard to be inspired by somebody you don't like, by somebody who treats you badly. But on the flip side, it's so much easier to be inspired by somebody you look up to, somebody you admire. And it was easy to admire Philip. He spoke to the cleaners with the same smile on his face that he spoke to the directors. When he was in the elevator, he greeted everybody. He said hi to anybody and everybody in the hallway. He understood that as a leader, this was his responsibility. He made connections throughout the organization, which bred dedication and loyalty. People didn't follow him because they had to. They followed him because they wanted to. The next example illustrates how empathy and relatability make a massive difference in our ability to develop others and to give meaningful feedback. Feedback that people actually listen to, that they're motivated to action. I remember receiving the same feedback from two different managers with vastly differing results. When I sat down with the first manager, Peter, he started off saying something negative. He said, "Matt, you need to increase your profile in the company. This isn't good. The partners just don't know who you are." I remember my mind racing. I was thinking, but I do talk to the partners. How would he know who I talk to? Essentially, the problem was I started off the whole conversation on the defensive. I put up a wall and started thinking of all the reasons to disprove what he was saying. The feedback was valuable. Actually, it was true. but I didn't let it land. I walked out of that meeting trying to convince myself that he was mistaken. I wasn't motivated to act, and as a result, I never fixed the problem. Contrast this to the second manager, Rachel, who was excellent at empathizing and relating to others. When we sat down for the meeting, she started off with some praise, which immediately made me more receptive to her comments. You know, when someone says something positive about you, you kind of just want to believe what they're saying, right? You want to believe it's true. I found myself thinking, oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about. And then she did something interesting. Before delivering the same feedback about me needing to increase my profile in the company, she said, I had a similar problem when I first started my career. It's a common problem, and this is how I got past it. By admitting she had a similar issue, it completely lowered my defenses. It took the wall down and made me feel like she was genuinely trying to help me. It enabled the feedback to land. I walked out of that meeting determined and motivated to correct the issue. Rachel's ability to connect with me prior to giving the feedback led to a more developed and dedicated employee who was willing to go the extra mile for her. Her approach led to a win-win on both sides. Leadership is about people. When you develop the ability to connect with others, you bring the best out of them. You unlock their potential, you inspire and motivate them. Don't wait till you're in a leadership position to start acting like one. Your path towards becoming a great leader starts today, whether that's at home, with friends, at work, it doesn't matter. When you're in an elevator with somebody, talk to them. Walking by someone in the corridor, say hi. Before delivering feedback, relate to them as a human being before the suggestion. Become the kind of person who excels at connecting with others everywhere they go. We all have leadership potential. In fact, who knows what your limit is? There may be a great leader within you. Become the kind of leader people admire and respect. Become the leader that they don't follow because they have to. Become the leader people follow because they want to. I hope this video helped you. If it did, hit the like button, share it. I would love to build a community for ambitious people trying to help each other build better lives. Make sure to subscribe for more videos on personal growth and motivation. And finally, check out some of the other videos. There'll be something popping up here on the left and the right on how to stop being a perfectionist and how to deal with negative emotions. That's it for me, guys. I'm Matt. Thank you for joining me. Talk to you next time.